point. So another kill for actually Hotshot top. So definitely in a strong advantage over Sion, despite Sion's early game presence. So definitely a good thing there. Do you think that CLG is going to continue pressuring that top lane, knowing that Aurelia has that advantage over Sion currently?
Definitely they're going to pressure top because Sion already being down a kill. Same deal last game. When you fall behind and when you roam, you're going to fall further behind. So the kill potential on Sion just increases every time it falls further behind its farm. And you couple that with Aurelia getting extra kills and assists, not only is Sion weaker because he doesn't have as many levels or as much farm, Aurelia is also getting a lot more levels and a lot more farm. So, one thing is Sion is weak because he's not farming, he's under level. And another thing is Aurelia is just really, really strong because he's getting a lot of farm and a lot of kills. So he's just going to have a lot of threat and a lot of pressure up top.
So one of the things with Kog'Maw as a champion, there's some fantastic range, great late game scaling. CLG doesn't really have the best means of getting in. They have Shyvana, but I would think with the stun from Sion, with the cleaves and whatnot, they could pull Shyvana off a little bit since there's no hard CC there. What is CLG going to do to kind of disrupt the flow from Aphromoo and Kog'Maw?
I feel like if they're gonna win, they're not gonna be able to just like straight up walk into each other 5v5 team fight. And so it's gonna have to be a pick if it gets to late game in an even setting. Because I feel like with the type of team comp CLG has, Mundo, if he is gonna be prudent, he's not.
Oh wow, we actually have double lift coming on an Aphromoo, some great burst damage, but once again, Soraka just too much heal, so they're gonna back off, and Kog's gonna be perfectly fine in that lane once again.
So one thing I was talking about is, normally when you see Mundo, he's going to hit R and he's going to rush into everybody and try and be just a huge damage soak. And I feel like...
Well, once again, some more aggression top. Mundo is here this time, though. We do have the exhaust on Shyvana. Unstoppable X taking a lot of damage here, and Big Fat LP coming in. They are going to push this tower now. Do you think that we'll see them pressuring a tower dive here, or even just killing the tower and going for those kills?
Ideally, I feel like they want this tower, but they are splitting back off, so...
Well, it's definitely a pretty defensive game so far. V8 doing an effective job of kind of controlling CLG, not allowing them to pick off any early advantages. We did see some kills top lane. Hotshot will be able to get this tower. Do you expect that at this point, he'll just take it down, knowing they've got a short-range team, need to get those early towers? Or does he maybe want to keep it up so that the wave keeps pushing back into him and they can pressure Sion?
I feel like the way Hotshot plays, he's going to want to continue to push and just split and just keep V8 split, so they can't farm as effectively, they can't group up for objectives, so ideally he's going to want to pressure Sion as much as possible, and if it comes down to it, he can also freeze the lane in front of his tower if he just want to get that farm in later on as well.
So as the game progresses, V8, they don't have the best wave clearing capability other than Sion. Well, there's the absolutely opposite of what I was just saying, but Sion, great wave clearing capability, but at the same time, can V8 kind of stall this game if CLG is trying to be aggressive? If CLG ever gets an advantage, will we be able to see them pushing, or do they just not have a very strong pushing team?
Actually, CLG does not have a strong pushing team as well, so the way they're going to push is they're going to have to force global objectives, do a pick, kill a couple of people before they push, because with Karthus, with Kog'Maw, they're going to be able to clear all the waves relatively quickly compared to CLG. So in terms of pushing, CLG is just going to be very, very behind on that. So I really honestly think this game is going to come down to picking people off.
Okay, well, we do see them kind of stalling mid, and Kog'Maw is going to come bottom, just face off against double lift, get that farm in that bottom lane. Neither of them really going for Dragon right now. We'll see whether they kind of pressure that fight. Shyvana is going back. So, we'll have to see. I guess we're seeing V8 now coming in for the Dragon. There's a ward from Tree Eskimo. With Shyvana, she should have plenty of time to get in here. I don't know. Who do you think has the Dragon control advantage at this point?
I feel like it's pretty even. If they fight, I feel like it can be anyone's victory. I'd give the advantage slightly to V8 just based on team comp. I feel like Shyvana's not at the point where she can tank enough if she jumps in the middle of everybody, whereas Mundo can tank just significantly more at this point.
So St. Vicious picking up the early oracles, I guess not really early at this point in the game, but definitely recognizes that they need to pick people off, need to get that map control.
They definitely have position control at this point, because Cog is bottom. Mundo's still back, so if they do group, it's going to take a long time for Cog to make that turn down bottom. And so if the creep is pushing too, there's going to be a lot of pressure on that. So it's going to come down to Afromoon where he places himself.
Well, CLG does know that Cog's bottom currently, seeing if maybe they can engage on anyone. V8 being extremely defensive, recognizes where they're going, and we do see them pinging Baron now. It's pretty early. We don't have really that strong Baron team. Karthus definitely has a lot of Baron potential with Kog'Maw, so if V8 is able to get any kills, that's definitely a threat, the fact that they can just clear it so quickly.
So the reason why I feel CLG backed off is they looked at V8's team comp. Karthus does a lot of single target damage, and really the reason he doesn't do a lot in teamfight is if he misses. So on a standing target, Baron's not going to move anywhere, so he's going to be able to kill Baron really quickly. Mundo's cleaver does % damage, so it's always going to be very, very high. Same with Cog, so they have a really, really strong Dragon and Baron comp. As you can see, that's how fast Dragon drops, so Baron wouldn't take too much longer than that to drop as well.
But we do have, after that Dragon, they are coming down for Doublelift. Doublelift does have the roll, but there's the flash in the wall, and Doublelift actually just going to flash right over the wall, so he's going to be perfectly fine there, doing an effective job. But still, at the same time, V8 able to take that advantage with that Dragon. Now they're going to be able to take down this tower. Actually, probably just going to back off. But even so, it's pushing it further and further into the game, where as a team, they can kind of all sit together, have Karthus with the AoE up front, have Cog in the back as that hyper carry. What does CLG need to do as far as like pushing or pressuring objectives in order to force V8 out of position, see if they can get any kills?
I think that they're going to need to bait. They're going to need to bait really hard. Right here is a very, very good chance for them to pick off Sion. So the way you bait is you're going to group up at places where you think the enemy is going to want to be, and you got to get there before them, and they do not know. And the way you do that is you have oracles, you clear wards, and you got to know the timer on buffs and global objectives, and just be a step ahead of them continually. And that's how you would make a pick happen.
Well, we do have Unstoppable here. He's actually going to walk in the same vicious, throwing the cleave, recognizing he's there, and so now we do have a 3v2, but the rest of CLG is coming up behind. Vane's still bottom, so they're not actually going to engage there. I thought maybe Aurelia and Shyvana would try and slow them down, but actually they're engaging on Takashi here. We did have the snare from Big Fat. There's the whirlwind from Chowster, and so we have a ton of damage coming off. There's the teleport in from Sion, and so Takashi is going to be fine in this situation. Sion with the flash over and the beautiful monsoon from Chowster. They are still chasing. We do have Big Fat coming through the jungle here, but probably going to get caught in the middle, but taking down Takashi, and now we have the rest of CLG coming in. We do have Kog'Maw being able to take him down. Hotshot going to jump on him, and in the meantime, we see up here Chowster going to flash over that wall, and so CLG able to disengage. It seemed like Big Fat was definitely out of position there, but they were able to trade kills, get out of there safely.
I thought those were really, really good. Great plays by both teams. For a moment, I was almost sure Karthus was going to die mid. However, the teleport stopped Rise from killing Karthus. And then the flash by Sion was going to surely land on Rise and stun him, but then the Janna knocked him out. So it was just really, really good plays by both teams continually. And really, Rise I felt like was dead the moment he was in the jungle, and he salvaged it by killing Karthus.
Yeah, and so we will see once again this game is pushing further and further into that late game. CLG not really able to get that strong engage that they're hoping for. They are starting to group around this blue buff though, denying that blue from Rise. Definitely not as significant as it used to be, but he hasn't finished that Frozen Heart yet, so he still will get the full 10% CDR from that. And so actually they're probably just going to back off, see if Unstoppable can just seal this, but he's going to be walking right into the team. There's the snare from Big Fat, and now we're chasing him down with St. Vicious. He did steal that blue though, so actually really effective play by Unstoppable, so able to get the blue and then get out of there. But in the meantime, Doublelift going to push down this top, actually just going to back off. I thought maybe with the fact that they knew V8 was all bottom, he would maybe continue pressuring that tower. But in the meantime, Afromoose should be able to take down this bottom tower and continue, the slight advantage for V8 currently. So, what is CLG in V8 like? What right now they're really kind of both being very hesitant to have a strong engage. They both recognize that anything could really catapult either team into an advantage. What is their really goal right now? What are they trying to accomplish, or just find people out of position?
I feel like they're waiting for Aurelia to just be a freaking monster, and hopefully she can shut down Cog. So it's going to be a matter of how hard can Aurelia Zerg Cog and kill him, and how well can his team protect Cog?
Oh, but we do have Hotshot. Unstoppable actually missing the cleaver. He did throw off his ultimate. And now Hotshot jumping onto Unstoppable, going to take him down very quickly. There is the kill, and he's going to be turning onto Afremu. We do have the Karthus ultimate. Soraka still does not have the ultimate, but Hotshot going to barely be able to get this. We have Muffin Cutie with the heal. Hotshot juking over to the creep, and the rest of his team is coming down here. We do have Big Fat coming. There's the ward from Muffin trying to pick him up. Not able to get it. And in the meantime, we have Double Lift in this top lane, taking down Tree Eskimo, chasing him down with that movement speed. Able to pick up the kills. CLG picking up 2 kills there really quickly, and I cannot believe that Hotshot did not go down in that engage.
I felt like Afremu was almost certain his next hit was going to kill Hotshot, so he wasn't moving forward anymore. It's just the expectation that, oh, he's dead anyways, time to run back, Rise is coming. And by the time they recognize that he's not dead, they just didn't have the time to chase him down anymore.
Well, looking at the game currently, Sion, doing an okay job farming, but Aurelia definitely has the upper hand there. Do you think that the fact that Sion is such a cooldown-dependent champion, when his abilities are off, he's kind of not that effective. Do you think that's an issue for V8, or we actually see Afremu going to be chasing down Big Fat here, getting a lot of damage off, going to get him with the ultimate. One more crit will be able to do it. Big Fat just flashing out of the way there at the last second. But do you think, Aurelia's tankiness and her sustained damage versus the burst that Sion has, how is that a favorable matchup for CLG as the game progresses?
I think the whole idea behind having Sion is more of him stunning and blowing his shield onto Vayne. So in terms of him trying to shut down Aurelia, that's not a concern for Eskimo. So really, I feel like at this point, if he lands a good stun and burst on Vayne, he's done his job. However, he is very, very, very far behind. So that burst, I don't know if it's going to be enough to keep Double Lift down or give him at this point.
Yeah, that's definitely kind of what I was thinking. I mean, just the fact that his role is against Vayne. Vayne does have that cleanse, and with how strong Aurelia is at this point, whether or not he's going to be as effective in fights, they are coming in to steal this blue, so they are able to take it.